Hi, everybody. Roy Firestone here. Facebook Live is a show. We're seeing 4 o'clock West Coast, 7 o'clock East Coast every Monday. And because it's holiday time, we're going to talk today about Christmas songs. I happen to really love Christmas music. I happen not to be of the faith, but I also still believe that I like the lights and the color and the music. Not a lot of great Hanukkah songs, by the way, but mostly a lot of great Christmas songs, and we'll tell you why Jewish people have had such a great influence on Christmas songs. But let me start with this story, because it was kind of a sad time for this writer. He and his wife found their child dead in the basement of their house years before, and it was right around Christmas time. And so Christmas for years was kind of a sad and somber time of the year. But slowly, the writer recovered emotionally and started to enjoy the lights and the festivities of the holidays, even though he wasn't of the faith, like I'm not of the faith either. Anyway, he believed in the secular American Christmas. The writer happened to be Jewish, but he got lost in the joy of the holidays. It eased some of his pain. The year was 1935. The writer had a melody in his head, but he really didn't know what the song was going to be about. So he was writing the song in the dead of summer, didn't have any lyrics, by the way. He pitched the song to a director by the name of Mark Sandrich for a future Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers film, but Sandrich declined the song, didn't care for it. Now, Fred Astaire loved the song, but since it was rejected, he also lost interest. One morning in January of 1942, the writer finished the song and the lyrics, a full 7 years in the making. Now, he was in a hurry on a Monday morning and shouted at his musical secretary, Helmi Krisia, "Helmi, grab your pen and take down this song. It's the best song I ever wrote. Hell, it may be the best song anybody ever wrote." Now, the war was just declared less than a month before, and the sentiment of this song, the writer felt, could touch, maybe, uplift the servicemen and their families who were apart for the holidays. So he offered the song to the great Bing Crosby, who was not impressed. But they still needed a song for a musical called Holiday Inn. So Bing Crosby finally recorded it reluctantly. Then they released a song about, almost as an afterthought, a promotion for the film. This song was a massive hit, the likes of which the music business had never seen before, really probably ever since. Went to #1 on the Billboard chart in October and stayed that top spot for 11 weeks, took it to the first 2 weeks of the year 1943. The song enjoyed a sales resurgence every Christmas after it was first released in the year 1942. It went to #1 that year again in America and again reached the top spot in 45 and 1947. Elvis Presley recorded the song in 1957, along with other holiday standards for his Elvis Christmas album. Now, most songwriters just dreamed of having Elvis Presley record their songs, but this songwriter who wrote the song, he did not like it, spoke out against Elvis Presley's cover, calling it a profane parody of his cherished Yuletide standard, and claimed that his staff was ordered to call radio station and ask them not playing that song sung by Elvis Presley. What was the song? White Christmas. The songwriter was Irving Berlin. Now, Irving Berlin lived to the age of 101, believing indeed that song was the greatest song ever written, and that could be debated, but it is certainly one of the most popular Christmas songs of all time, maybe the #1, and perhaps the most played song in history, in the history of all music. Sales and licensings of the song, it's generated more than $250 million, and the meter is still running. The greatest Christmas song of all time was written by a Jew.
And may all your Christmases be white.
Now, here's another one that I like. It's another story about another song that I really love, and probably you do too. It took Mel Torme and Bob Wells about 45 minutes to write the song, which really wasn't a song at first, but just kind of a bunch of random thoughts ways to cool off in the sweltering heat. Just like Irving Berlin wrote that Christmas song in the heat, so did Mel Torme. It was sweltering in Los Angeles when it was written. The song was written way back in 1944, not terribly far from when Irving Berlin wrote his song. It was recorded 4 different times by Nat King Cole, and of course the most famous version was 1961. The song has earned $20 million in royalties alone. It is played 1 million times every year during the holidays. Just about every top artist has recorded it, from Tony Bennett to Whitney Houston, and yes, even Paul McCartney recorded it. But for me, there is only one vocal of that song that matters, and you can play it 365 days a year, and it would still warm my heart. Nat King Cole and the Christmas song.
Merry Christmas to you.
Now, what's interesting to me is that Jewish people have had such an influence on Christmas music. Let's start with, obviously chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Mel Torme was Jewish. Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow. Sammy Cahn, Julie Stein, both Jewish people. Santa Baby, remember that song? Joan Javits, Phil Springer, 2 Jewish people. It's the Most Wonderful Time. That was written by George Weil and Eddie Pola, both Jewish people. Silver Bells, right? That song by Ray Evans and Jay Livingston, Jews. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, rocking around the Christmas tree. A holly jolly Christmas, silver and gold, written by a Jew, Johnny Marks. Walking in the Winter Wonderland by Felix Bernard and Richard Smith, both Jews. I find that so fascinating that so many of the greatest songs ever written about Christmas or Christmas time, written by Jewish people. One last story before we go. And I've told this holiday story before, but I just love telling about it, and I just love the story. In the post-war years, there was a 19-year-old soldier stationed in Europe, and he sent a letter back home to his then fiancée, wishing her a Merry Christmas and telling her how he wished he could be with her on Christmas Eve. The two were going to get married. But as sometimes happens, the war ended and the two decided not to marry, and they eventually broke off their relationship. That man married someone else, and his wife died a few years later, and that kind of left the man a widower for many years, a little lonely, but he always loved the sentiment during Christmas time because it reminded him of his first girlfriend. He kept his little poems and his letters that he used to send to his fiancée. Frank Pooler was this gentleman's name. He happened to have been music professor at Long Beach State University when he gave one of his students, a young 20-year-old student by the name of Richard, the words to his letter and his poem to his fiancée. He says, write something with a Christmas melody. Well, it took his student Richard 15 minutes to write the melody to those words. Richard was Richard Carpenter. He gave his sister Karen the song, and she sang it as beautifully as she sang so many other songs. The result? Merry Christmas, Darling, one of the greatest and most beloved of all the Carpenter songs. It is also a holiday classic, and it has been a #1 record in 3 different years. Richard Carpenter, to this day, believes it is possibly Karen Carpenter's greatest vocal. Just listen to her sing it again, as you probably do anyway this time of year. And this song still has a warmth and a sentiment, and for me, a special place in my heart. Boy, can she sing this song.
Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, darling.
Karen Carpenter, one of my all-time favorite singers, with this beautiful song, Merry Christmas, Darling. I'm very excited, by the way, about a new project I'm involved in called the National Sports Museum, having interviewed about 5,000 athletes in my career. There are so many interesting stories to tell about athletes and their profound impact on our national identity. You have the opportunity to join me in becoming an NSM founding supporter by purchasing their what they call holiday bundle. You get a t-shirt, a hoodie, cap, 4 advance tickets for limited prices, and it makes for a great gift for someone on your list. It supports an important cause. So just check out the link in the description for the NSM Holiday Bundle. Also want to plug my 2 books. One is a children's book called Kobe and a Boy Named Roy. It's written with the tribute, kind of the memory of the great Kobe Bryant we lost a couple of years ago. And it's a children's book, so if you want to buy it at royfirestone.com and you want me to sign it, proceeds will benefit West Coast Labrador Retriever Rescue. And the other book is called That's What I'm Talking About. It's more of the grown-up version of my books. Both are available for the holidays, and we'll get it out to you and get it just in time for the holidays if you want to buy it and bring some cheer for the holidays. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Lots of insights into some of the greatest songs we ever hear during the holidays. And by the way, music starts playing, Christmas music does, around June these days anyway. Hope you'd enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.